In the past couple of years, there has been a noticeable trend with an increase in urbanization around the world in which small towns have developed into cities. With more people starting to migrate towards these locations, it should be no surprise that over half of the world's population is now currently living in a city. But what are the advantages and disadvantages of living in a city? When living in a city, it is all about location. Some urban advantages include being close to resources such as hospitals, schools, or markets. There is even the advantage of having different types of transportation, such as buses, subways, and taxis, which are readily available and making it easier for one to commute from one location to another, while also having the advantage of being able to find a job in the city. Cities are dynamic. Any community, no matter how impoverished, still has the potential to improve and change if the right resources are available. If not, then these places can be replaced or rebuilt to benefit everyone. Cities cannot only modify themselves, but produce changes on a global scale. They have connections and the influence to affect international politics and social factors. Unlike small towns, cities have the advantage of being created by a diverse group. It is this mix of thoughts and beliefs held by people with different backgrounds which gives cities the advantage of always holding a new and unique perspective, which can be seen when a diverse group of people can come together under a common purpose to make a difference. Although there are many advantages to living in a city, there are also disadvantages. For instance, with an increase in population, cities need to do their best to accommodate their residents by making more room for them to live in. In turn, the demand to live closer to the city often results with an increase in cost of living. Along with this, other issues include limited resources, pollution, and higher crime rates. Another urban issue includes social stratification, which shows how resources and opportunities are distributed based on various social factors, such as age, race, education, and even the location of the residents. Unfortunately, this causes a very visible inequality between various groups, such as those who are either very wealthy or very poor. Another issue is the urban divide, also known as the gap, which is the difference between two opposite groups, such as men and women in the gender group. Other groups can also include a difference between race or economic status of residents living in the same location. Because of this existing gap between various groups, there is a noticeable impact on how each group is affected. For instance, those with minimal education tend to hold low-paying jobs, while those with a higher education have high-income jobs. Thus, a social gap is created between groups of people who live in the same place. Another way to show the social inequality is by looking at the Lorenz curve, which measures the percentage of income and the percent of household or population. The straight center line shows the perfect income distribution where everyone would have the same income, while the y-axis shows the perfect inequality where only one person would have all the income. Bottom line, the greater the gap, the greater the inequality. Another disadvantage noted in cities is known as the poverty trap, which is a term used to describe the cycle of persistent poverty that is often carried on through generations. For example, a family that is living in an area with minimal opportunities to receive a higher education prevents them from obtaining a higher paid job. Without the money, the family will live in a low-end area usually associated with crime and so on and so forth. If steps aren't taken to end the cycle, then it will only continue to keep residents in poverty. The point of this PowerPoint was to show both the advantages and disadvantages of living in a city. While this gave a very broad introduction on the topic, and whether or not this changed your view of the cities is up to you, but I hope that this has given you some insight to decide for yourself of what you think of a city.